So this week on Marvel in the 90s, we're going to be talking about CapWolf, Marvel Comics in the 90s. CapWolf is an infamous and famous story from Captain America from 402 through 408, written in 1992. It was written, first of all, by Mark Gruenwald. Mark Gruenwald was the writer of Captain America for 10 years, 1985 to 1995. He also wrote Squadron Supreme. In this story, a werewolf attacks, and so Cap starts investigating because Man-Wolf, who is his pilot, also happens to be gone. He investigates with Dr. Druid because Dr. Strange is not available, and that doesn't make Dr. Druid look good. Then this dude, Moon Hunter, shows up when they find their first werewolf and shows up and completely breaks the party. He's got razor wire hair. How cool is that? Then he finds out that he's working for Nightshade, who is turning people into werewolves because of this dude named Dreadmond. Dreadmond has the Moon Gem, which originally turned Jameson into the Man-Wolf. Wolverine is also hunting this werewolf killer, and he gets captured, and even though they can't turn him into a werewolf, they turn him into a subordinate. Dreadmond uses hypnotism power, and him and Captain America have their first fight of this story, right? And it's a great fight. Wolverine wins. Captain America is captured, and they decide they're going to inject him with this werewolf serum because they're turning this whole town into werewolves, and thus we get CapWolf. So Captain America turns into a werewolf. Of course, he can't be controlled, so he escapes. Therefore, Wolverine versus CapWolf. That's right, round two. Cap wins this time, gets away. Meanwhile, Dr. Druid confronts Dreadmond, and he completely gets owned in a psychic battle. He eventually gets sacrificed so he can unlock the true potential of the Moon Gem. Captain America goes back to the villain's headquarters, finds a pit of vampires. He fights Man-Wolf, who happens to be the alpha male, and now he convinces all the vampires through a very heroic Captain America werewolf speech. I keep saying vampires. Oh, my God. Anyway, they get him free. And they go off to attack Dreadmond and to stop him in what he's doing. And so he's trying to use the Moon Gem, and he does it. He unlocks his full power and becomes Star-Wolf. Oh my goodness. It's all worth it because of Star-Wolf. Star-Wolf is the best. He's unlocked the full potential of the Moon Gem. Cable, by the way, because Feral is gone, because all werewolves in the Marvel Universe are being brought to this. He finds Feral. She's brought to this space. Cable shows back up. This dude brings that Wolverine. I'm losing it right now. I really am. Man-Wolf shows up, convinces this doctor to make an antidote. And by the way, Dr. Druid's not actually dead. And then Captain America shows up and rips the Moon Gem out of the Star-Wolf. And it's all said and done and over. And then they eventually cure him. So I kind of fumbled through that just a little bit. I probably made the images just a little fast. But yeah, I read the CapWolf story, and it's pretty fun. I had a lot of fun with it. Now, it's looked as one of maybe the weak Cap stories, right? Now, first of all, let's give mad props to Mark Gruenwald, who not only created and wrote the Squadron Supreme book, which we covered on the Comics Revisited, but he also did this Captain America run that lasted 10 years. Now, let's talk about that. We got the greatest runs of comics, like people that have stood with their characters for a long, long time, right? We're talking about Chris Claremont on the X-Men. We're talking about Peter David on the Incredible Hulk. We're talking about Stan Lee and Jack Kirby on the Fantastic Four. Extended runs. Mark Gruenwald did a 10-year run on Captain America. And Captain America wasn't the best-selling comic book of the time, right? So it was almost a shame because Gruenwald was doing such amazing things. He was trying to make Cap stand out on his own with his own rogues gallery, but there's only so much you can do with Red Skull, right? But by the way, he wrote one of the best Red Skull stories because in the Acts of Vengeance that happened pretty much, I think, right before this, there's a great story where Magneto comes and just kicks the Red Skull's ass, right, because of his involvement in the Holocaust. But the Man and Wolf story from Captain America, the CapWolf story. So people make fun of it, and they're like, oh, remember that time they turned Captain America into a werewolf? How silly, how silly. No, it was awesome. It was great. It was fantastic. It's really fun. It's really good. This is 1992. So last week we talked about Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man 1990. We're talking about 2 years later. And Gruenwald has been writing Cap this entire ass time. This entire ass time. And He's done great stuff. The Bloodstone Hunt, first appearance of Crossbones. He's building up a rogues gallery. He's doing interesting things. And there are things in this story with D-Man and Diamondback that I didn't really mention because I should have made those images way longer because I totally botched that. I'll learn that better for next time. So if you're watching this on the replay, sorry about that. We do this live. But Captain America, Man and Wolf, I actually like this story. I think it's really cool. It touches on some decent themes, but is Captain America turning into a werewolf? Plus, like I said, Captain America, even though it was a high-quality book at the time, wasn't selling a lot of copies. We're talking about 1992. We're talking about the age of Spider-Man and the X-Men. If it wasn't an X book or a Spider book, it didn't sell in Marvel in the early 90s for the most part, unless it had a holofoil cover or a chromium cover or a foil cover, but that was the only one that did. But these stories are absolutely amazing. I actually have every single issue, just recently bought them. I love it. So even though it's not the most popular story, they were obviously trying to tap into trends, right? So they tap into their trends. They got Wolverine in the story, and it's cool, right? And the artist is actually, it's pretty solid. It's late 80s, early 90s art that you would typically find. I'm going to open one up so I can actually know the artist's name. Rick Levins. I knew that. Rick Levins. Anyway, really good book. Really liked it. I think it's fun. And they obviously capture on the popularity of the X-Men books by involving not just Cable and Wolverine, but Feral and Wolfsbane. Because Wolfsbane's one of the werewolves that are led to this town. So this town has all these wolves that are led to them, right? And it's really cool, really fun stuff. Wolfsbane's there. Werewolf by Night's there. Man-Wolf, of course. Man-Wolf gets cured at the end of the story. And what's really interesting is that the story is 6 parts, and Cap is still a wolf. And then there's the next issue where it's like the final fate of CapWolf. And it's the Infinity War tie-in where he fights his doppelganger, his evil Infinity War doppelganger. And it's the quickest little thing in the issue. And also there's this Diamondback story throughout that's being led up and through. A 10-year run on Captain America. When I read Man-Wolf, this CapWolf story, first of all, I enjoyed it. Second of all, it made me want to read, and not only read, but collect the entirety of 10 years of Mark Gruenwald on this book. And people talk about Captain America against the supernatural force, these werewolves, and what's crazy about this book, and I love this book because it has all these werewolf characters in the MCU, or my bad, in Marvel Comics, in their universe, are brought to this town, like Starksboro or something, Massachusetts or something like that. But I love how they use everybody. Werewolf by Night's in there, Feral's in it, Wolfsbane's in it, and even more. And it was so much fun. John Jameson, obviously the son of J. Jonah Jameson, who is the Man-Wolf, and he's the one, he got turned into the Man-Wolf by the gym, then he gets turned into the wolf by the formula, and then, anyway, in that Infinity War tie-in, they do cure both Cap and John, but John only for a little bit. John was Captain America's pilot for a while, went missing at the same time the werewolf killings were happening, and it led to the Three's Company misinformation, right? Anyway, here are my issues that I have. So there's 402, Part 1, 403, and I really like this book. I think it's fun. I like the art style. I love early 90s Marvel. There's the good cover, right? CapWolf. I really like this one. Captain America, even as a werewolf, maintaining his willpower, maintaining his ferocity, his gumption, and there's his evil doppelganger, right? See, he's got elf ears and a black costume and a razor shield. But it's fun, and I really enjoyed revisiting it for this segment, and I thought it was slam bang fantastic. The art's pretty good. It's solid. It's right up there with what you expect from Marvel at its time. And like I said, even though it wasn't Marvel's best-selling title of the time, I think the X-Men kind of overshadowed some of the really great stuff that Marvel was doing. And Mark Gruenwald's Captain America seems like one of those runs, because I have read bits of it, but not the entirety. He did it from 1985 until the time Mark Waid took over. And when Mark Waid and Ron Garney took over, that's when I first started reading it. But I did read a little bit of the Superior's Stratagem or whatever. But it's got me highly intrigued and interested in this run. I really like Mark Gruenwald. He is known to be a meticulous historian of continuity in comic books and so much that even the Time Variance Authority in Walt Simonson's Fantastic Four run, it's all a bunch of Mark Grunwalds, right? But I really like this writer. I really like this story. I think it's great. I know CapWolf gets a lot of shit from a lot of people, but I think it's completely ridiculous. And I think CapWolf is a great story. I love a werewolf story, and I love a Captain America story. And when you give me two solid examples of both combined, I love it. And there you go. That was tonight's segment of Marvel in the 90s.